So I'm finding a lot of disconnect from you both. Honestly, if you saw the reality, like he mentioned, you would actually not even have to think twice. You just wouldn't think about choosing to hurt animals. I want to explain a little bit. Being vegan is not just related to food. It's more than that. Animals are not here for us. They're here with us. Um, Veganism is about animal rights. It's not about a diet. We don't enslave animals. We don't, regardless of how kind we are being to them, like, say, ride a horse, the kindest way you would ever think. Does the horse give you permission to do that?
Can we ever find out? How can we, if we wanted to use the horse, like back in the day when that was a really good mode of transportation, how could we ask for permission? So it's either, find a way to ask for permission, which we couldn't figure out at the time, or, use the horse to get from point A to B. And, that is obviously a selfish way of doing it, but, certain things like you need a faster way of transportation, like maybe medicines or maybe, like foods that have to be refrigerated and et cetera.
Do we have to use animals at all? Like I said, like animals are not here to serve us. Like, they're not. I heard in the earlier conversation, I see both see animals as resources. Maybe we should switch that. Let's not see them. Are you a resource?
No.
Yes.
Are you a resource?
I am a resource, yes.
But are you a resource for people to get you? Like, let's say you're a resource to get milk, but you don't want to. You don't want people to take advantage. And regardless of advantage, like, you're not consenting. Would you say you are a resource even if you don't want to?
Yeah, I don't think it's like a choice to be a resource. It's just like a fact or not. Like I'm a resource to other people. I'm a resource to myself. I'm a resource to the environment, I hope.
What I mean is, like, we are not resource, period. Like, we don't have to be, animals are not resources about for anything.
I think.
For example, regardless if we knew if they give consent, is it okay if I go near that human over there and write them? Like, let's say I take their ability to speak and I write them. They're gonna show what? After that, they're gonna show what? Sorry,
You're okay. Probably signs of distress, but some horses don't. And arguably speaking,
I'm gonna explain.
So racing horses.
So yeah, here's the thing. Sometimes they have, when we keep riding them, they probably start with restraint and like uncomfortability. But we kind of they keep seeing us as if we're dominating them, which is we are. But they kind of end up having their spirit broken. Like, when you're being so much abused that you don't see any point in fighting. For example, women when they're being like learned helplessness. You know about that?
Sorry, what? Yep.
Learned
helplessness. Learned helplessness.
That's what that's why you see horses sometimes like not do anything, because if they try to help themselves not be abused, what will happen to them?
I don't know. I guess it depends, but they'd probably just be like
the person exactly that they would be hit. We just gotta stop seeing animals as here for us. What do you think?
I agree. I think it just is all about, like the mindset. Because if you think about back in the old days and stuff, think about like sheep that have like the little fur, the wool. Do sheep have wool? Yeah. What if we needed to make blankets and that was the only resource? And maybe now we have technology and machinery that can take plants and turn anything into anything. But in, previous, like historically speaking, that wasn't possible. So now it's about changing people's mindsets, and saying that this is an option. Like, we can use this sheep as to make like a blanket or to make whatever we want. But do we have to?
So exactly. We can, but should we? I can abuse you, any of you. Should I?
Nope. I hope not.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. At least with me. I cannot say the same thing about everyone. The same thing I cannot say that everyone cares about animals. But me, I'm not contributing to your abuse, to your oppression. If we are women or say black people that are being oppressed, they're like a marginalized group of people, and they're being oppressed. Does it make sense that if we are oppressed and we fight against our own oppression, but we are okay oppressing others? Does it make sense?
No, I think it's just the mindset. People have just, been eating animals for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's a whole lifestyle change. Like I said earlier about the grocery store question, I could slowly move towards becoming vegetarian or vegan, but it doesn't happen overnight. And there are also, like I said, priorities, and you have to assess like what's feasible right now, like right here, right now. Like if you want to think of some dumb example, like a doctor, for example, an anesthesiologist or a neurosurgeon, where they have crazy, insane hours and they're saving people's lives. Maybe they can't inconvenience themselves and they have to just get the hospital food, which happens to be like a burger, so that they can continue their job, which is saving people. And
By murdering others, like saving some, but unsaving others, and talk about priority. You talk about human priorities, but what's the priority of the victim, for example?
well, as our current information, we don't know what the priorities of chickens are, because they just like walk around and
I would say, from the top of my head, just
to live.
they want to live. Exactly. You said it before me.
Do they want to live, or
I mean,
do they think
we don't have to ask them. You just, do they want to live?
Okay,
You can just let's just not abuse them. Let's stop seeing them as resources. Like, let's not abuse them.
I have a question
Let's
for you.
yeah.
So I didn't read too much into this one article, so I don't know if I can answer any of the questions you might have. But this one research paper was talking about trees and how trees actually have feelings and they communicate with each other too. So does that mean we, shouldn't cut down wood anymore? Or I honestly believe that there's like some level of consciousness in everything, like the air, the sand, whatever. But what if we...
Wait, are you saying the sand is like sentient?
Oh, yeah.
We're actually hurting the sand? What do you mean?
I think that...
What if this tiny little thing? There's a lot of things. Like, where's the brain? Where's the central nervous system of this? Like, can barely see. Like, no. This is just a rock.
Well,
And a plant, for example. You think plants really do they have a brain or a central nervous system? Do you think?
I don't think you need a brain or a central nervous system. It depends on how you define. It depends on how you define consciousness. Like for how we just saw these animals as these things, and now as we develop and have new technology, we can learn that maybe they do have feelings. Like dogs, for example, like they salivate when the bell is rung because they know that's associated with food. They can form these patterns and stuff. And right now, we might not think that plants have feelings or whatever. But what if eventually they do?
Like,
Can
we don't.
Can I clarify something really quick?
Yeah.
Say something? Yeah. So just sort of for clarity, like the common like the widely accepted definition for consciousness or sentience is just like a capacity for subjective experience. Subjective experience, and as we understand it, like a consciousness is an emergent property of brains. It's an emergent property of central nervous system. So like plants are like biologically incapable of that. Like maybe they can, if you use another definition, maybe you can try to claim they're sentient. But what we know is that their intelligence, they exhibit intelligence. Like we have artificial intelligence too. We have calculators, stuff like that. They react to stimuli, but they're not sentient. They don't have a capacity for subjective experience. They don't suffer. They don't think. They don't feel like animals. So that would be the difference there.
I want to mention something that I just thought of. It's just funny. Have you ever seen Spider-Man 3, for example?
Which one?
Spider-Man 3, the one with Sandman.
Oh yeah.
Have you
I've
seen it?
All of them. I love Twitter.
So if sand, for example, like you think they're like everything like conscious, or if it was conscience, wouldn't you think that sand would be moving just like Sandman? Like moving like we're sitting here, but they would move away from us. It would move away. Like, do you think that would happen?
I don't think so, because I think sand, you mentioned that maybe we're hurting it right now, but maybe it doesn't feel pain, or maybe it wants to, I don't know, be sat on it, or it's just like living, it's just being, it's not thinking, and the difference between animals and humans is that we have like a more in-depth like consciousness and ability to think, and we understand our place, or we can think and have emotions, and obviously animals express some sort of that, but not to the same degree we can, and I think that's why it's so easy to use them as resources.
Some of us.
Some of us, exactly.
Well, humans, if you're assuming that there's nothing like neurologically wrong with them, then all of us are not superior, but like superior in thinking and feeling, and in depth perception and all this and all that, and just a higher level degree of consciousness.
Yeah, but there's always the marginal cases, right? There's the marginal cases of people that don't have that same degree of subjective experience or intelligence.
That's not normal.
But
So-
those people do exist, and we give them basic rights to live and not to be exploited.
Yeah. So we don't have any evidence that plants or anything else has sentience, like subjective experience, like consciousness, whatever, like capacity to feel pain, suffer, run away when they feel threatened or whatever. But animals, we do have. Actually, I wouldn't say we need any evidence. Let's just use our eyes. Let's use our heart, our brain that we all actually do. Let's use our body to actually. We have a conscious, we have a subjective experience. We can also experience and see for ourselves that animals are sentient.
What if we asked chickens, like, what if we said, hey, right before you die, can we eat you? And they said yes. Would that then be okay? Like if we could communicate with them and they were fine with it, then would you think that it would be okay to eat them? Like it's just wrong because we're taking away their rights and we're not asking for permission and we're putting them below us.
I mean,
Can I give my opinion on that?
so maybe if to be consistent, if a human said that, I guess if they thought it's okay, you can eat me when I'm dead, then I guess yeah, but they're not doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, like what vegans have problem with is violating others' rights, like killing them. Like if a being dies naturally, I don't see a problem with eating that being, even if it's a human. Like the only problem I see with eating a human is like extrinsic stuff, the extrinsic suffering that would cause to the family member, stuff like that. But let's say it happens in a vacuum, I don't see a problem with that.
Even though I don't see humans as food or animals as food, that's why also I don't see dogs as food. I don't see anyone else as food, a human, anyone. But kind of lost my thought. What else?
I think it's when it's so like ingrained in people, like growing up. Like I said, this whole like vegan movement is somewhat new, like relatively speaking, newer in like comparison to like the whole timeline of human existence. But how can you, if like I said, like for example, I volunteer a lot, and I remember I asked one of my friends, I was like, hey, you want to come volunteer with me? And he was like, haha, no. And I was like, why? You don't want to volunteer because it, doesn't affect you? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay, but you're helping others, so why wouldn't you want to do that? So, if you want to relate it to animals, not, like you said, like volunteering takes time and energy, which I could be spending doing other things like studying, sleeping, being with my friends, so if you want to compare that to the slight inconvenience that, well, not slight, depends on the scenario, but the inconvenience that it would take for animals or to not eat animals, it's just like, is it personally something you want to do? Like I personally am willing, I'm okay with giving my time up to volunteer because that's like a direct impact for me personally. But when the meat's already in the store, you don't think about, people aren't thinking, like, that's just the thing. They're not thinking that their money, you buy this and then you're creating that demand, like you mentioned, because even though there's all these business majors, they're not really familiar with like supply and demand, or not enough to care, or I don't know. I think there's just a lot of factors, and it would be, in a perfect world, then that would be a lovely scenario. But I think humans just love to exploit others, and not even just animals, they exploit other humans too, and all the resources, because we're selfish. It just I don't know if it's innately, but a lot of people are selfish, and at the end of the day, they don't care if it doesn't affect them. Most people, unfortunately.
I mean, it does affect them, but it's
Indirectly.
like, yeah, but it's also, I'd see it also as a selfish way, because like if they kind of learn that it does affect them,
No,
having that as a motivation to change, because it affects you, you feel like it does affect you. It's like, even if it doesn't affect you, like regardless, that should not be the motivation, because I could say it's like another human's oppression, not my case, but let's just say it doesn't affect me, but I'm gonna do what's right and help that person. Like, I'm changing. My motivation for changing is because I'm doing what's right, what feels right, what I know is right, is helping others, and not just helping myself. Because seeing, oh, it does affect me, then I'm gonna help myself, even if I'm not the victim. I'm actually the oppressor, because if I'm also just letting it happen, I'm also enabling, right? So, and like you're saying, like you see the product, you don't see the victim. Let's change that. Let's change that mindset. Let's start thinking more about the animals, not about ourselves. That would be selfish.
Cows are so bad for the environment. They produce so much methane. They take up so much like land and stuff. And I'm like, to be honest, like, it's not even that good.
and regardless of it, yeah.
Yeah, like we're just talking ethics here, because like veganism is a logical extension of human rights. To like that's how we see it. But like the plant-based diets are better for so many reasons. Like, they're better for your health. They're better for the environment. Like, as you said, like it's not sustainable. The thing that is, it's environmentally destructive. The thing that we're doing with animal agriculture, with cows, like the latest United Nations climate report stated that like by 2050, if the world were to go vegan, we will feed like that population that is expected to be by 2050 with less land on a plant-based diet. So it's like completely like ridiculous what we're doing like with animal agriculture.
I think it's all about education. People aren't educated enough, because like I said, it's about the money, because, plants, if you want to go based off of what he's saying, and how, arguably speaking, plant-based diet is cheaper, then that's less of a profit, and these cows are here, and we can abuse them, and we can take advantage of them. So the people in power, it's not about necessarily, not that it's not about, like us, the extensions of these people in power, but they're the ones that can make a change, and, not everyone can, unfortunately, switch to certain diets, because of so many extenuating circumstances. We can play out every single scenario, like maybe there's some weird diet where let's just say they have to eat meat, which is then a case-by-case scenario, but people aren't educated about, the plant-based diet, that it's better for yourself and it's better for the environment, because that doesn't benefit the people in power and the people that do have money, because you guys are two people out here educating people, but that's taking up your time and your resources that you are volunteering, as a service to these animals, and a service to us, honestly, because it is better for your health and, economically speaking, if that is true. But it's doing a disservice to the people in power, because they're selfish and want money, and I hate people.
We're doing what's right, and we're doing justice. We're helping try to make justice, like try to make a better world for everyone, not just humans. We are so selfish. We only see, let's make a better world for us. Like, who cares animals? Like, they're just animals. People say that, but aren't we also animals? Like, imagine we say, humans, they're just animals, because we are animals. But imagine they say we are just animals. Like, being an animal is actually cool. Like, why is it bad to say they're just animals? They're just animals, but animals are cool. We are animals. They are animals. Animals are like, yeah.
I think I was gonna say something. It was, oh shoot, hold on. It'll come back to me. It had to do with, no, it's gone. It's like it's there, huh? Just sorry. You can give me a second.
So, huh?
Let's wrap it up if we can. See if I can. It's time to serve.
Yeah. So, yeah, I want to give it a documentary.
I remember. Sorry. I was saying you're bringing up this issue where there like oppression with the animals, but there also is oppression with humans. And if you want to make a list of every single thing that's wrong with the world, it's like I personally would rather choose to help people than animals, because even though we're all animals, humans can like express more like distress, or they can communicate better and stuff. It's unfortunate that there are so many issues that people have to choose. And it's so if I only have a limited time and resources, which I do, as does everyone, I would choose to, let's say, volunteer and help the homeless, as opposed to going vegan. And so there's only so many things you can balance.
Let me interrupt you. For example, even if so, animals are the most abused, most ignored, even more than a homeless human being. A human being is a little less oppressed than an animal, because a homeless human being that's being oppressed, they can still speak up for themselves, and like you say, like they're trying to live, they're trying to survive, but animals cannot survive where they're voiceless. If I'm saying that they're the most ignored, we're gonna say let's also continue to ignore them, because humans are just more important, and they'll be more vocal about what they feel, because we can actually understand them. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing about like the animal issue, why we see it like as a moral emergency, is because like if you were to ask any random bystander, like, what do you think about all these human issues about homelessness? What do you think about human trafficking? Everybody would say, oh, that's horrible. Like I wish it would end. You ask him, what do you think about eating animals? I love steak. So that's why it's an moral emergency. People don't even think about it. We raised this like to think that it's necessary, natural, all this shit, and like you can like do whatever you want. You can volunteer all the time. You obviously we choose our battles. So you don't have like there's no obligation to be a vegan activist. Like the obligation would be to be vegan, to not murder others. But like you can fight for human rights while you're not simultaneously paying for animal abuse 3 times or more a day. Because we like the thing about animal abuse, that we do it more than 3 times a day, every day. Like how many times a day we're abusing humans,
So we also shower, and what I'm getting to, we also shower every day, and showering, like shampoo, also has animal ingredients, so it has animal abuse. That's what I'm saying. It's not a diet. So we buy vegan shampoo, vegan cosmetics, vegan clothing, vegan shoes, vegan everything. That's why I meant it's not food only. So I like to mention this with a diet. It's about animal liberation. With a diet alone, how do we expect to liberate animals with just diet when we're abusing them in other ways and forms?
I mean, I guess you can't, or you can only help to some extent, but you're not fully eradicating the issue.
You're still abusing animals by showering with animal products and test it on them, so that's why.
I think there just, like I said, needs to be more education, because so many people, it's not that, a lot of people don't know what they're doing, they're not thinking about it, because, when you're showering, you're not like, oh my gosh, what are the ingredients in my shampoo, Yeah, that too, and stuff, and there's, like, a lot of different things like bugs too that are in it. I love bugs. Sorry.
Was it like a GI Joe or something?
G.I. Joe.
Knowing is half the battle, right?
Knowing is half the
So
battle. That's
other
what he
half
said.
is like doing something about it and stop being lazy and selfish and just doing something about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the documentary that I suggest you watch is on YouTube. It's free. It's called, yeah, you can look it up.
I'll write it down.
Yeah, get up.
It's called Dominion.
Dominion. Oh my gosh, I think my mom watched that. My mom went vegetarian because she watched it. She was like, it was horrible.
But then how did she watch it and still not be vegan?
No, she became vegetarian.
No, but still abuses animals. Vegetarians would also shower with animal ingredients and test it on animals. Yeah.
Type it. And the web page, the Academy of Nutrients and Diets, something.
Is that notes?
Yeah.
I can type that.
Watch. Ah.
What about fish? Okay, so
Fish is an animal, and
no,
actually
but-
they're the most abused.
yeah.
So land animals are abused like about 80 billion a year, but sea animals, we're not even counting them.
So
It's from 1 to 3 trillion.
So in the sense of, like, what if there are, the salmon that migrate and stuff? Only some salmon. I don't know which specific species or which kind. I mean, what if there is the overpopulation of them? Then how do we, like, what if there's an overpopulation that this is just a hypothetical scenario, but let's say it affects like transportation, like water transportation, because it affects the engines and blah blah blah. Then how would we? Like, would it be appropriate to kill them if they're becoming an issue, or should we just like move them? Or does that make sense?
So
Like-
overpopulation.
Becomes an issue.
What's the question?
I was saying specifically like fish. What if these fish just keep populating, and we don't eat any of them, and then they not take over the water, but what if they affect like boat transportation because they get caught in the engines, or there's just like so many of them that it becomes an issue? Like algae, for example, like algae can easily, affect ecosystems and environments. So what if killing some animals is just necessary so that it doesn't affect other things like vegetation that we are going to, use for these plant-based diets?
I'm not sure. Actually, we are also factory farming fish. In the actual ocean, we have like nets. We close them up.
Yeah,
Regardless,
to answer your question, like I think overpopulation of sea life is the least of our problems right now. Is like the biodiversity is actually in danger. Like we're overfishing these beings, so like we're doing the opposite. We're like exterminating oceanic life. I don't know. Like I don't think. Like I don't think overpopulation in the sea has ever been a problem. Like before humans. Like I don't think that. I don't know, but if it is, I think we should find most ethical alternatives than just committing a mass murder. We can just
What
like.
about pets? Do you think it's like domestication of cats or having a goldfish is like animal abuse?
I would say, for example, a goldfish.
Because they can't remember.
'Cause-
they have really
no,
bad memory. So what about?
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
that's a
I would
great
suggest,
question. I don't know about that.
like, imagine you're a
Maybe
fish
some people
in
can't
a
remember either.
yeah.
Gotta murder them.
Yeah.
Me?
Imagine imagine a goldfish in a little tank, or regardless of how big. Imagine your whole life being there just because you're being
I don't want
decoration, just a decoration for your home.
Literally.
You're
to.
using
I
a
don't even
support
feed them.
zoos. I like
and they would die. So, for example, a dog, people care more about the dog. They would like actually give them more attention.
People would kill for their dogs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
by
just
the
don't
way,
see.
like, to answer the question, yeah, we think it's exploitative. Like pet industry, we're just breeding beings to be our best friends, basically, like to be our friends. I guess it's exploitative. Like there's enough homeless companion animals out there. You can just adopt and rescue instead of shopping.
Actually, I want to say something now. So, bringing it back to consciousness, some animals have lower or lower, higher, different, right? But why have lower capacity of sentience, like consciousness, like a goldfish, for example? Like, let's just leave them be, let them free. Like, a dog is more, you'll feel more, how do I say this? Like,
Happy.
yeah, like, they're more, people often say this to justify other things, but we could use it as a positive way to, if a dog is more emotion, has like more emotion, different to a fish, then I guess a dog, we can adopt a dog. That's better than having a fish just stuck there. The fish is just stuck there, but a dog, even if you have them. Sorry, have them. I never say it. Animals are not it. That's what I mean. But even if you have the dog in your home, but I don't know, you can take them out
Yeah.
to walk.
And they like being pets.
Yeah.
Arguably, they. I mean, yeah, it's.
We do the best to take care of them. We're not their owners, we're their takers, caretakers, their guardians, I guess.
Yeah, I had.
They're companion animals.
Actually, not too long ago, I had this conversation, like not eating meat with a friend, and yeah, sorry, not eating animals.
Well, I say that because it helps us see that. Yeah, like, no, like, when we say meat, we're helping the disconnection. We're helping, like, we're calling animals meat. Like, we're helping to continue having that disconnection with the victim. So, I don't eat animals. I eat meat. I eat plant-based meat. Animals are not meat. Like, they're not food. Why have them as
What I
food?
would say more specifically is we don't eat sentient beings, or we don't exploit sentient beings, because if there's some animals that happen not to be sentient, no vegan would have issue eating those. I mean, I wouldn't say no vegan. There's like ideological people in any like in any movement, but like the thing that matters here is that sentient, subjective experience.
So, so that documentary, Dominion, it's about ethics, like animal abuse, animal rights, showing everything. But so you learn a little bit about. So you get some answers, some questions answered. Sorry. There's another one on Netflix called Seaspiracy. You'll learn more about that.
Yeah.
Have you seen
I
it?
watched
You seen
No,
it?
I've seen the little photo though.
So
It's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
big net.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, what is
So
that?
watch that.
That's interesting.
Maybe it'll get your questions answered.
Valid.
Yeah. So
I think he wants to go surf.
yeah.
It's late anyway, but
Yeah. All right. No, you're not doing anything?
just wrap it up.
Yeah. All right. So I guess thank you for the conversation.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for the interesting perspective. Like, information is knowledge is power, and I think I'm a little more educated than I was previously, and maybe I can use that to change choices or help educate other people. So thank you.
Remember, when we think about the victims, it's easy. When we think about ourselves, or even not think about the victim at all, it's hard, of course.
Do you have any other questions or objections?
I always have more questions, so it's never ending. Stop while you can.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.